Welcome back. All right, so some more news of the day for all you fine people on the internet. It is still Monday evening as I'm recording this, though where you're watching this, it may very well be Tuesday when you load it up. All right, so Trevor Zegras was suspended today. 3 game suspension for him. They're still calling it interference on Rasmussen. So 3 games, one more than I predicted. I was close. There was a trade made. The Anaheim Ducks doing Detroit a favor. So this is weird because Zegras gets suspended for an incident with Rasmussen, and the team sit down today and go, all right, well, maybe the Ducks said, hey, the whole Rasmussen thing, we feel bad. We'll take Ville Husso's contract off your hands. Going the other way, future considerations to Detroit, and I love that the Anaheim Ducks thanked future considerations for their contributions to the team and wish them luck in Detroit. I wish teams did this a little more often. This saves Detroit $3.6 million. So yeah, Detroit may very well be able to buy at the deadline, and Anaheim takes Husso off their hands. Now, this is not a sign Gibson's going to be out long-term. Elliot Friedman reporting that it's not supposed to be a long-term injury for Gibson, so Husso just gives them depth in net. It's just a matter of wanting to have some depth there. Anaheim closer to the playoff picture than anybody expected, so maybe that's what they're looking at too and saying, hey, we just need a little bit more goaltending depth in the organization. Gary Bettman surprised some people today. He dropped Hartman's suspension from 10 games to 8. Hartman has the option of appealing again to try to get it dropped more. He will not do so. So Hartman's eligible to play. I believe I was reading March the 4th. He's eligible to come back. For Minnesota, that's good news. I'm sure there will be some opinions because at the time that was a 10-game suspension, there were some who felt that it should have been more. Bettman felt that dropping it from 10 games to 8 was because that the last suspension that Hartman had was for 3 games, and Bettman felt that an extra 7 games for the next suspension was a little bit harsh, so he drops it down to 8 games instead. So a little bit of a surprise. The last time that he brought down a suspension was the Jason Spezza suspension a few years back, where he dropped that one. I think that one was from 6 to 4. Juuso Välimäki cleared waivers for Utah, so they get to keep him in the organization, send him down to the AHL for the time being. I'm mildly surprised by that, but we're close enough to the trade deadline that I guess GMs looked at their lineup and said, Välimäki's not an improvement. They didn't want to waive their own players either, is my guess, and the trade deadline coming up means you're going to be adding as well. So, yeah, Välimäki clears. Seth Jarvis, this might be an interesting storyline. So the face-off series, we're going to get season 2 of that. They already confirmed Brady Tkachuk's going to be on that. That could be very entertaining. And now Seth Jarvis has been added, so he'll be featured in Amazon's face-off series. I'm going to have to check that out. The first season, I never did get around to watching it. It is the oddest thing. When the off-season's going on, I don't really generally want to watch hockey documentaries. It's bizarre, but I will have to sit down and watch that one. And of course, season 2 with Jarvis and Brady Tkachuk. Those are 2 very entertaining people. And so, yeah, Jarvis has, of course, been the center of attention a bit on the Canadian side with the fact that he had friends of his that drove, I think it was 600 kilometers to get down to that game in Boston. So, yeah, Jarvis could be a very interesting part of that series this year. Rick Dhaliwal. Reporting, and this is reporting that's different from what I've heard elsewhere, but I do believe that Rick has inside information on this. He's reporting that Boeser could re-sign with the Canucks at the deadline. So basically, if they can re-sign him by the deadline, then obviously keep the player. If they can't re-sign him, they may move him. Apparently, the term is the sticking point. So because he's 28 years of age, the team probably does not want to give him an 8-year contract, and that may very well be what he's asking for. It is interesting because the Canucks have not been shy about giving out long-term contracts. You look at the JT Miller one. Wasn't Miller 29 when his kicked in? Maybe they're just looking at that and going, we don't want to end up in another one of those situations. But if the Canucks did re-sign Boeser, it would kind of signal to the locker room, hey, we're going to keep this group together for a while longer. It might go a ways towards keeping other players around as well. The one that I'll be interested in, actually, and he wasn't on the board with the video I did earlier about penning UFAs, is Pius Suter. Suter would attract a lot of interest at the deadline if the Canucks decide to let go of some pending UFAs if they decide this is not going to be the year for them. So yeah, it should be quite interesting to see what the Canucks do, and if Besser does in fact sign, then Dhaliwal had that information before anybody else. The New York Rangers concerned with the health status of Kreider going into tomorrow's game. There's a possibility he may not play tomorrow's game. When asked whether or not this was related to Four Nations, the coach's answer was it's upper body. So, yes, this is an injury that took place at Four Nations as well, keeping Kreider out. So, Othman's been called up just in case Kreider can't go tomorrow against the Islanders. There are a lot of players who came out of that tournament banged up, and it's worthy of discussion. It's something to look at, and so yeah, we'll see if the NHL make some decisions about the next time they have an international tournament. World Cup's next up. A lot of injuries coming out of this one, so we'll see. But there you go. Quick little news of the day video for all you fine people on the internet. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe in the event you may not have done so already. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I also watched Raw tonight, so I'll be doing the review for Raw during the second intermission of the Vegas Kings game, and of course the review for that will be going up later. So there you go. And of course, the Raw review will be on the Entertainment Guy channel. So thank you guys so much for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.